Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Today's guest, Dave Merheje. Hello, Dave.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Chemda met Dave at Comedians You Should Know, the Brooklyn show. And she said, hey, this is somebody that people should know. Now, I'll tell you behind the scenes, I want to make sure every time I get the guest's name right, it shows that you care. It shows that you give a fuck. We're going to talk about childhood trauma. I better at least know your name, right? But I'll tell you what, Middle Easterners will not just give it to you. They tell you, they give it to you some way, and then I go, is it like that? And then they go, yeah, but I don't pronounce it that way. Originally, it's this. Yeah, but I don't pronounce it that way either. It's so, we want to know your names.
Yeah, I guess it was, in our growing up or around our families and our cousins and around other Lebanese people, you'd say Merheje. You kind of knew that's how it was said or how you would say it. And then, you go through, I grew up in Canada, so you go through elementary school and you meet people that aren't Arab or Lebanese and you go Merheje, and it takes about the third or fourth time to someone confused and being like, what? And then you just get tired of the what. You just like,
well, it's not like Merheje makes sense.
It doesn't at all,
you're not really making it easier.
You know what, though? You do get tired of the what, but it's also an indication of some stuff, right? Like my name is Chemda, and I'll say Chemda, but right away I'll be like, but if you can't say that, here's some alternatives. And it's really exhausting. But yeah. I'll know if I just say, if we're about to get introduced, and by the way, it's so traumatizing. Every time I introduce myself, it's traumatizing. So it's like, hi, I'm regular American name. Hi, I'm Chemda. And if they don't say what after that, or pronounce it perfectly to show me like how cool they are, they didn't catch it. They don't know it. They didn't even hear it. And I'm like, that's cool. A lot of times people don't listen, but I know as an indication, unless you say what after my name or repeat it, you didn't catch it.
Yeah, somebody did that to me the other day. I asked, we were total stranger. We were talking, but he gave a weird name, and I took way too long to respond. I'm like, all right, processing. It doesn't really sound like that. And now I'm like, well, I'm way too long now. I go, oh, okay. And he just looked back like, yeah, you don't know. And I'm like, we're not going to see each other. We're just talking about a car accident.
Right. And then, but what bothers me is like, I put some sort of thing on myself because my name is Chemda. I assume that other people assume that I can pronounce their name because otherwise I'm being rude. It's like being a marginalized group and not understanding other marginalized group. It's like, how come you don't understand? I can't hear very well. And then I can't pronounce people's name well. So I mess up other people's name. And with a name like Chemda, I don't think you're allowed. Anyway, Merheje, right?
Yeah.
But who's saying that? You're so lucky to have Dave as your first name.
Yeah and no, I guess. Even when you start,
How do you pronounce Dave?
I pronounce it.
All right. Okay.
You could pronounce it David or
sure.
Dawood.
Yeah, of course. Why not add a W? You know what? Maybe Karen on last week on Keith and the Girl is just pronouncing all these names Middle Eastern. She always adds letters that aren't there, and maybe she's onto something.
Well, Dawood is how I guess it is in Arabic. So, but that's also like my mom will call me that, or like a family member will call me that. So it's not like.
Say it again.
Dawood.
Dave, Dawood. Yeah, I see it.
And then, but I don't know. You go through stand up, and then over the years, people add the host, and it's just like gets like so. You should have people pronounce your last name properly because it's your last name, but it's just like so exhausting. Especially if you're doing like shows every night, or you go to different cities, and these you're putting this in the hands of a host or somebody to get it right. After a while, like after repeated, I don't know. I guess I just kind of gave up. I was like, man, I'm not doing this back and forth with every person.
They go, what? Say your name again. You're like, you tell me. Go. I'll find out. Congrats on your acting success. We'll get into and your stand-up. The new album you can hear on YouTube now. This new special, Miseducation of a Fuckboy.
Yeah.
And the beginning starts with an answering machine, and who doesn't love answering machine messages from probably the unknowing? This woman, it sounds like, calls you to say, hey, why didn't you help make us work? I wanted to make it work. I don't understand what the answering machine, what you're really telling me, and I didn't know even after listening to the album, and I was wondering if you can fill us in. Do you mind if I play the message?
Yeah.
Can I play it?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
So they
You've
start
reached
the
the
album.
voicemail of Dave Merheje. Please leave a message after the tone.
I can't understand why you didn't want to try to work through things.
She sounds
like,
hot.
You didn't seem all the way in, never at any point, but was it your fear of commitment, or was it that the comedy and acting was more important and you felt like you couldn't have both or work at both? Like, I don't know, but I do know that I loved you and I would have been there with you all the way through.
Then it goes into a little music and then the introduction to you.
Yeah.
Is this real?
No, that girl is an actress named Mara. She's
Okay.
very, very lovely. That artist, the singer rapper is Rob GF from Toronto. So that kind of came with the idea. I was listening to that song, and it's like, I think, the perception I got from the song or how I interpret it was like, he's like really like in love with this girl. And then originally it was called I Love Her. This was called I Love Her. And it was like not her per se. It was about comedy. And these stories were just kind of collectives, not all the bits, but near the end, like after maybe like the first 2 or 3 tracks, and I start talking about relationships, all those were failed relationships.
Right.
Like so they were just compiled stories I had that I hadn't talked about in they're all old. And I was like, let me just kind of piece it together. And then and all those girls, I kind of sacrificed stand up, that it kind of interfered with probably me being fully committing to them. So that's where
Do you really feel like you would have committed more to these relationships if you didn't have comedy? Do you think that you
dirty
would have
mistress comedy, and you can only take her out at night?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think you
Yeah,
would
it's
have
hilarious.
missed out on the love of your life and just went, oops?
No, I don't know. I mean, no, I mean, I think my thinking it wasn't necessarily all fully has to do like literally with each person. It was like, my thinking was like, I need whatever gets in the way of stand up at that time. I was like, I'm not going to let it get in stand up. It could have been anything.
Which one would you have stayed with if comedy didn't exist? Where you're like, I wish I didn't have comedy because I would put my eggs in this basket.
Oh, I can't.
But there is one in
There
mind.
probably is one for sure. Yeah. But I don't want to put their, yeah.
That's fine.
But
Is it earlier on one or a more recent
I
one?
can't.
Okay.
Oh, some more recent, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I knew like probably putting together the voicemail probably would confuse. I just wasn't thinking probably would have confused people, but more it's like that message was more of like the things I would hear over time.
Is it you apologizing to a woman? Like, or did part of you think this woman will hear this and be like, all right, I'm evolved and she'll like that?
Maybe I was like, but that's the message I would kind of sentiment I would maybe feel sometimes from partners. And that's why
Did you ever introduce any of the partners to your family or?
Oh yeah, they met them. They know who they
Yeah.
are.
Did you ever
What
introduce
did your-
them to comedy? Because the jealousy must have been crazy.
No, I mean the first one in Toronto was super, super supportive of stand-up. That's why it was really on me. I was just kind of like, there was a lot of fuckery on my end. That person was willing to, and was always supportive of my stand-up. Again, it was just me and my insecurities and my fear of like, oh no, I just really wasn't thinking. I had a mentality of like,
What's fuckery? Not being there or actually fuckery?
not being there, fucking around.
Okay.
I was like so driven on being.
If hooking up means fucking, then fucking around means fucking, right? Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I graduated or I went to college and I left, my hometown. But I mean, if I wasn't doing stand-up, I would have probably stayed. I don't know if I would have left. So, I mean, even if I had met someone there at that time, I wasn't going to stay. And I wasn't probably going to hear any kind of reasoning to maybe do long distance. Do you know what I'm saying? Everything was so connected at the time because I didn't know. I mean, now if I can go back, I would be like, obviously you can make both work. I was just
How
really.
old are you?
Now I'm 42.
When do you want to have children, if any?
Hey, De
When?
Niro did it at 86. Who gives a shit, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
I could.
Man's
I mean,
world.
yeah, I could have it at any time, I guess. But like back then, there was so much of a fear of not achieving what I wanted to achieve that like any kind of thing that I thought got close. It's not really anyone else. It's really me. I'd push away, or I'd find a way to fuck it up, or it probably at the end of the day, maybe those relationships wouldn't have worked. But at the time, I think mentally that's where I was at, and I just took those stories and try to piece together kind of like an album. Like I'm like really big into like voicemails from rap albums. It was all
Right.
it was all influenced from that space. It's like how I listen to rap albums and
Specifically Eminem and Mariah Carey.
no, this was actually a
I thought
rapper.
their back and forth was the best. And
Yeah,
then
that
she even wrote a diss track for him.
I know it's like I'm like, man, you don't need to do that with Eminem. But it
That's
was
so
actually um a rapper from Toronto. I was listening to his album, Jimmy. And there was a voicemail. It was influenced from there that a girl had left him on the album. And I was just thinking, I was like, oh man, all these, these girls I've had interactions with, I would hear some of that sentiment. Like they would say these certain words, like, oh, why don't you want to commit? And I was like, what if I just put together a voicemail to open up this thing where it's called Miseducation. Miseducation changed. I Love Her went to Miseducation because of the Lauryn Hill album.
Did you have an older sibling? Because
No.
your references are very 90s and you were in high school in the late 90s, right?
No, I'm the oldest. But I mean, everyone knew Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I mean,
Yeah.
that was where I got the influence of it from. And yeah, just basically was like, oh, it'd be funny to make fun of a fuckboy. I was a fuckboy in most
What
of the
made you a fuckboy?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just probably wasn't faithful. Sometimes I probably wasn't respectful. I was insensitive.
You honestly sound so indifferent to women. It's and that you're just using them as a scapegoat because you need to focus on your comedy. But that's what all guys sound like in here when they're like, "Oh, she was so mad at me because of comedy." That's just what guys say.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
I mean, it probably
Come to
was
reads the
that.
books, by the way. Come to reads the books.
No, no, it
You should know
probably
that.
was that for sure. But there was like honest connections with some of them, 100%. I just was not. I was just too scared. I just wasn't. And
Do you know what 100% means?
do I know what 100% is? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you give your mommy 100% or just comedy?
No, of course I give my mom 100%,
Yeah. And she's
Yeah, I don't
happy with
think,
everything you do.
huh?
You're the firstborn. Is she upset that you don't have a child yet? She's Arab.
No, my sister has like
Oh.
4 kids.
Okay.
She has 4 kids, so I don't know if she's upset. I mean,
Have you in
Your
your
mom
mother's
says about the
eyes-
average. By average, we have.
Yeah. In your
Yeah.
mother's eyes, have you ever done anything wrong in your life?
100% probably. I mean,
Something.
yeah, that I've done wrong. 100. I don't know
Yeah.
if she'll admit it, but I've done it for sure.
I don't see it admit it. That might sound fucked up.
Can you rely on your mother to hide a body with you?
Yeah, my mom.
Trust me, yes.
My mom.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you where, or if it was recent or in the past.
Does your mom still make you food sometimes?
100% all the time. All the time. Yeah, she takes care of us.
When did you move out of your parents' house? How old were you?
Any day now.
24 years old. I left to Toronto from Windsor, Ontario.
Reluctantly, like if you wouldn't have left Toronto, would you have stayed at your mom's house a little longer?
No, I don't think so. I think it is what it was supposed to be. I always wanted to probably dip out kind of thing. But I mean, we all left. No, my little brother is probably still there, but he's leaving soon. And my sister, I think, dipped out at like 19 because she had a kid and a husband. And then my other brother,
Is it okay to say this? What?
like in what sense? Well, like
Toronto is my mother got married at 18 and had her first child right away too. Expected me to as well. I'm 47 years old, but at this age in a modern country, I was rebelling against that. you got to know that 19 is young to have already had a baby, right?
Yeah. They weren't, I don't think they were probably happy at first, but then when baby Layla was born, I think everyone kind of changed their energy, because now you have like a child, and then all your like differences and your bickering towards each other kind of leaves for a minute, because it's like this wonderful child.
Was
So
it an arranged marriage?
No, we didn't know. No,
Your
no.
sister fell in love and was married and had a kid by 19.
Yeah.
Well, I have a stepkid. He's in love at 15,
Yeah.
So who knows? You never know. By the way, congratulations on the show Rami on
Thank you.
Hulu, as well as the movie, a big role.
That's Rami.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I did. I talked to him. He said he told me 7 ways to pronounce it. Sometimes I think about dying. The movie with the Skywalker girl, right? Daisy Ridley, right? Is this getting you mad, pussy?
No.
No, no. That's the Skywalker girl.
No, I mean, like other girls are like, this guy worked with. No, I don't think.
Okay.
I mean, no woman has told me that. No woman's been like, "Hey, I'm talking to you because."
Well, you can't be clear.
I think what Keith is saying is you should start dating men because they're the ones that are impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, dudes are still so impressed, but 100% dudes are. I was impressed. I was watching Star Wars before I even knew about this project or even did the project. I watched them when I was younger, but I watched all 3, the newer ones, the last 4 or 5 years. So I was even surprised. I was like, this is crazy.
I was reading an article, and you talked about that you're shopping a project of your own about Arabs and mental health.
I was, yeah, we were like majority of last year and the top of this year. Idea that me and a friend of mine, Sheb, had put together. Yeah, we were shopping it.
Now, to me, Hamda gave a nod as if to say, yeah, of course, that would be a project that he did. Is that true?
So much material. Oh.
Hamda had a face as if to say, "Ugh!"
It's shit my mom says, Arab version.
Yeah.
You should have that, and then like I should do the female version, and we'll just battle. Like, this is how I grew up. Somehow we had the same mom, and this is how he grew up. That's hilarious.
It's all intertwined.
Like me, this guy was robbed at gunpoint as well. Me and Dave have our gun stories. And did you ever think that, looking back, because we'll get into your story a little bit, but looking back, what we both didn't do was just go, no. Because I see people get out of these guns that way. They're like, no, I just saw one guy had a gun. It went viral, this little video. Guy went I think it was a salon, pulled out a gun, pointed at everybody, give me your money. Everybody just pretended they didn't notice him, looked away. Same thing with the owner at the Kaiser. They just acted like they didn't see him. He's like, motherfuckers, I have a gun. Everybody just ignores him. He walks out dejected. I'm like, I didn't know you can do that. I'm here shitting my pants, giving away my cash.
I mean, mine was alone at night. It was only 3 of us. So I don't know if I could have. And it was on the street. So I don't really think, I don't think even till this day I would be like, no, I would just give you my shit. I was like too scared.
When you say 3 of you were walking and one guy with one gun?
No, it was 2 robbers and me. I was by myself.
Oh, okay. Did they both have guns?
That's the same thing with Keith. It was on the street, 2 guns.
No, one guy had a gun. And the other guy kind of kicked me, but I don't know if he had a gun. He didn't really show it, kind of thing.
I
So
see.
Like a pistol whip and then a kick, and then run and I'll shoot you type shit. So that it was like that.
That type of shit. All right, so let's slow down a little bit. They pointed one of the guns at your head, right?
Yeah, what happened originally, I went to LA for like 6 months, and when I moved to Toronto originally, and I had no you can vacation in America for 6 months without paperwork or anything like that. And I was thinking about maybe staying, but it would have been it wasn't a good idea, which I didn't. But I started seeing this girl in a hostel. It was like and I kind of caught feelings, and then I was bent over shape over some, and I was at a bar with my friend, and I wasn't feeling well, and I probably shouldn't have left. I was like, bro, I want to leave, and I had nowhere to stay because we were staying at the hostel, but there's a limit for you to stay. We had stayed already 2 months, so I had no home.
But you know what? But that sex, though, when you have, because what's better than that sneaky sex? Like we have to whisper, they're right next to us, but you have bunk beds all around you. How sexy is that?
I mean, I think, yeah, because she was.
Oh my God, I just realized something. I'm looking at the Arab Keith. This is so weird. The same stories are coming out of your face. He also lived in a hostel for way too long, and also with the gun pointing. And now I'm seeing the facial structures and even the beard. This is like Brown Keith.
He's a handsome guy.
Dave, if you ever want to get away with something, just say you're Keith.
I mean, I don't know though. I mean, he's too pink.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like he can get away with more. Just
Yeah, I'm not saying me be you.
Exactly. I didn't say vice versa. I just said swap glasses.
But so you're walking around, you're having
no,
you're dealing with a breakup?
I left this bar and my boy was like, bro, where are you going? I was like, I want to leave. He goes, stay. We're all having a good time. And I was like, no, man, I just feel bummed out about this situation. And then I walk out and I call my friend. I said, can I stay at your place? She's like a block away from the hostel. She's like, yeah. I was like, well, I got a headache. I'm going to go to the 7-Eleven like away from her house. She's like, no.
Is headache code for a feeling? I have a headache. Is that what guys say? When like, whoop, whoop, I'm having a feeling. Whoop, whoop. Somebody save me. I should call a female.
I think I actually had an actual headache. And then it's because I went to if I would have went to the original store I was going to go to, I wouldn't have been in that direction. So she was like, no, just come to the one by my crib. So as I'm walking down this street to where her street was, it was like my head was down. And then I just saw a kid kind of walk across and his hand was by his side. I didn't really think anything of it. And then he got like super close and he goes, he just pulls a gun out. He's like, yo, give me all your shit. And I'm like, and I was just in shock.
Don't you got to appreciate, maybe not at the moment, but later, give me all your shit is the best statement, because they used to be so specific, like your money or your life. Like now it's like, okay, at least you can make quicker decisions, but give me all your shit means like, hey, I don't know, are your glasses worth stuff? Give me that too. Whatever you're scared of, I'll take it. You know, I don't know what's in your pockets or down by your socks. Give me all your shit.
You said cash. You didn't say my diamonds. All right. Give me all your shit. Okay. Fair enough.
I had like maybe American dollars on me because I had worked for a moving company that day, so they paid you in cash, and then like some lint, and my all my IDs are Canadian and my credit cards were Canadian, so they probably couldn't do shit at all with it.
I'd extra want to steal that from you.
I mean,
I have an American passport and American ID.
Did they take the wallet and everything?
They took everything, and then he put the gun to my head, and I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna get shot now, because it was like right at my temple. And he said, then he was like, he's like, give me what's in your pocket. I think he said it like maybe twice, and I just couldn't talk, so nothing was coming out. And I don't know if that made him angry. And then he flipped the gun where it was the butt of the gun, and he just hit me in the side of the temple.
Oof.
I didn't fall fully to the ground, which I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh shit, this is cool.
No doppelganger of mine is gonna fall over.
And then I staggered, and then the other guy kicked me in the shin, which made me laugh. Not at the time, because I was like, you can't follow a gun butting with a shin kick. I was like, this is
guy goes, yeah.
And then that's when they were like, I can't remember if he said, I'm gonna kill you, run, or something along the lines of that. And I just started running down the street and right into the 7-Eleven.
Did you consider running zigzag?
Well, that's funny you say. He not only ran zigzag. He started like bending his back and shit, like dodging shit he can't see. That's not even happening.
Yeah, like I was like tripping out, and then I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die in these Timbs that someone had just given me unlaced. But I was preparing, I guess, to die. I was like, oh, and then because on my head, I'm like, they weren't wearing masks. I saw them, and we all saw each other.
Right, like why not kill me? You're saying,
yeah, why not? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and then I panicked, went to the 7-Eleven, And I called my friend and she's like, come over. Obviously, she was like, she was hysterical. She was like, holy shit. And then I canceled all my
Did you
cards.
say like, this is your fault? You know, I was going to go to the other 7-Eleven and she said, you're an idiot. All 7-Elevens are
No.
dangerous. It would have happened at any 7-Eleven. Pick one.
No, I think
But-
she knew I loved comedy. And so she was like, let's put on like Richard Pryor or something like that. She was like very, I remember I had just met her anyways. I met all these people through this hostel that we all stayed friends. So and at the end of the day, the manager of the hostel was like, became like a friend. So he like snuck me back in. He was like taking care of me. I mean, he gave me he gave me those Tims. So I have to thank him.
What was the worst food you had while staying in the hostel? Like it does not in the hostel, not eating in the hostel. What was the worst situation you were in because you were staying in a hostel, you didn't have money? For example, Keith microwaved a steak because he really wanted to have a steak, but he lived in a hostel. He didn't have a stove, but also you had
life
to
Uh,
isn't going to stop me from living. I'll tell you that.
I think when he snuck me in one time into a bed, into a room, this Australian dude was having sex underneath my bunk and his timing was off. Like the rhythm of like his sounds to her sounds were completely off. That's what I remember.
And did you start clicking like a metronome?
No, I wanted to tap him and be like, bro, you got to do something. This is not like, no one's having a good time here. But
And that was your worst meal? Okay.
not meal, but I mean, I don't remember an actual bad meal. I thought you meant the worst time I had in that hostel.
That was your worst time? What a precious, precious time you had.
I had
Not
a
bad.
Not bad.
By the way, the streets are getting really weird. We were talking about this I don't know, I think on the last episode or the one before, and I had mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I was on my bike and this guy, while I'm riding, he's walking the other way on the sidewalk to the left of me and his dick is out. And he's like making sure I see it, like pointing to it, touching it. And I'm just like, I see it, man. There's not much going on, but I see it. Recently, I go around the corner from my place and I'm like, hey, this guy's zipper is open. Should I tell him? Because it's like really wide open. And then I look closer. Not only is his zipper open, the little piece of the underwear and boxers is wide open. Like you had to.
It's summertime.
Yeah. Like, how are you not feeling the breeze? And he's crossing the street like regular. And I almost talked to him because I wanted to be a good neighbor. But now I'm just looking at his dick. And I don't want to say anything like, I see it, like put your dick away or shit like that, because I don't want to give them the attention because I assume you want me to say, I see your dick. And so part of me is like, me not saying it just means like, you think I didn't see it. I shouldn't even make a face. I should just be like, oh, another dick, whatever. But that's a lot of dicks in a short amount of time. Then a different day, actually yesterday, I'm walking to the supermarket. It's clear I'm walking to the supermarket because I have my bullshit cart that New Yorkers have. Like, obviously, I'm doing something local.
Oh, the granny cart.
Yeah. And there's a bodega on the corner of the apartment. And I love the guys there, right? Like they hang out on Friday night. Everyone's drinking. A lot of times, if it's Friday, Saturday night, they're drunk. Other times they're just like hanging out with each other. They mind their own business. And if anyone pays any attention to me, it's to nod at me knowing like, hey neighbor, right? And you know, it's like bagged beer and everything like that. It looks like a weird, sketchy thing, but it's lovely. There's somebody sitting at one of the chairs in front of the bodega. He's by himself. He's obviously drinking a beer or something. It's the middle of the day. We're not judging. We're just sharing a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
I walk by, headphones are in, and he's talking. Now, these are my neighbors, so I'll pay attention when they're talking because if they're saying anything, they're usually saying something regular, normal, whatever. I take my headphone off and all I hear is, so you want to have breakfast this morning? I just put my headphone back in like, you fucking asshole. You made me take off my headphone. Like what you're saying is important. And I'm just annoyed because this is my neighborhood and you know it. So I'm coming back from shopping. He's still there by himself, fresh beer, hasn't cracked it open yet, is about to, and is talking again. And I don't know what came over me. I got really annoyed at this person. I guess I was already in a place. And so I took my headphone off and I said, dude, can you just respect the neighborhood? I just put
Okay. All right.
You know what he say, or you didn't even
he
hear
goes, yeah, I grew up here. And I'm like, no, the headphones are already in. I'm like, no. After you say something which you think is so going to summarize exactly everything that you're going through and give the person the right message, I go, what kind of everything else was in my head? Yes, it sounds very succinct to me, respect the neighborhood. But what I meant was, I obviously live here.
Yeah.
You don't holler at the person who lives here, right? Because we're neighbors. There's people coming off the train right above you right now. That's who you holler at. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. By the way, speaking of hollering, when did you get were you horny, Dave, after you got held up? Did you try to fuck your friend?
No, I wasn't. I was
Okay.
seeing this lady, or so I couldn't. I saw my lady at the time, or this lady the next day, and there was no horniness. The horniness was taken out during the robbery.
I was going to see a woman. That's when I got robbed. I'm lost in Brooklyn. I'm looking at all the signs, and these two guys are coming up being like, look at this fucking idiot. I know that's what happened. But then I got to her house. Oh, you think makeup sex is good after crime sex? I chipped a tooth, Dave.
I mean, you can get it popping more than I can. I wasn't on that tip. I was like, man, they took all my identity.
Oh, right. Ryan is saying, thank God we're alive, sex.
Yes, that's good sex.
And Quentin is saying, New York seems to be a weird place. It felt cleaned up, but there's a lot of unfortunate shit. People seem angry, like old school angry now.
Yeah. You know what? I have such troubles. By the way, I'm glad you're here. When I try to order Middle Eastern food, both of you, I don't know what the fuck to do. There's not signs. There's just food out, buffet style. And I go, how does this work? And they go, what do you want? So, and I'm like, I want to leave. Like, take two. Take two what? Two, fuck you. I'm out of here. I don't know how to order. Is that a secret game to you guys? Like, is it funny to lose money from Americans?
I don't know, man. I think usually they have the sign that tells you want.
Not
like,
to me,
Parma,
unless it's in circles, and I don't read circles.
You know who I think started that? America, namely probably New York City, Midtown. Why? Because you got to keep moving the line. So they do these things where it's like, choose a protein, choose a carb, choose it, right? And you're just like, just give me a bowl of shit.
I mean, the shawarmas in Canada that we have, that I've come across, they have signs. You know what I mean?
I'll say.
I know what you mean by signs. I do know what you mean, Dave.
No. I mean, like they I think in New York is just so like fast that it's like it's not as fast in Toronto, or I think personally, like there's busyness, but there's just a sense of urgency in this city where, they're not gonna. You're like, what the fuck am I? Why you're looking at this screen? You don't know what's happening. Someone's yelling at you, and of course you probably don't know what's happening, especially if it's not your culture. It's so sped up here. It's like even trying to order a normal sandwich. You're like, there's like 9 billion things. Somebody's yelling at you.
God forbid, I don't know what to call your salad today.
Yeah.
Oh,
next guest already. Next guest.
No salad for you. Yeah.
Can I help you?
Up ordering. Yeah.
This is not the best place, I think, to base anything at all.
Okay, fair enough.
It's not a real place.
Is a short term, is the Raiders and acting strike affecting you?
Probably.
Is all your work done right now?
I mean, I can't work probably I can't all the projects I had done were already done.
Okay.
I obviously can't audition. I can't, you're not pitching. I mean, I can't even work in Canada because I'm with SAG.
Remember how the COVID started and artists were like, I'm going to write King Lear 2. Supposedly Shakespeare wrote that King Lear 1 during a plague. And then, of course, everybody just was like, well, if they're not doing something, I don't have to either. Is there something going on with actors and Raiders now behind the scenes? Like, this is how I get ahead. I'm going to write this and not show anybody, or this kind of thing.
Not that I know of. I mean, everyone seems kind of like frustrated in a sense. And like this, it's disheartening. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and say I know all the details or anything like that. But it's like you see the numbers and, Yeah, it's like, and it does suck, man, if you're not, these writers are getting paid, I think it's a lump sum at the beginning, and then they're not getting, there's no residual.
No
Not taking
exaggeration.
care of it. Not
The
taking care of it.
studios got together and proposed that they really use AI. They they scan an actor's likeness for 1 day's worth of pay, a background actor's likeness for 1 day's worth of pay, and gets to use their likeness forever in any form without pay. And they were surprised that the writers and actors said, fuck no. Never mind. By the way, if you have any idea, Google it, and if Black Mirror pops up, rethink it. This was the first fucking episode called Jonah's Awful of the new season. It doesn't end well.
I was gonna say that sounds like Black Mirror.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all. Then they said they were gonna like try to dry them out. It's
Wait until they can't afford homes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you hear the AI stuff, and it's like, it's like you watched a video 7 years ago of some lunatic in his basement telling you about AI, and you were like, man, this guy's nuts. And then now he's right.
Right. Well, I'm seeing a list of projects on hold, like Stranger Things, Cobra Kai. But Cobra Kai, I assumed Cobra Kai was AI. I assumed it was written in AI. I assumed the fight scenes were AI. Actually, I assumed that it was one take only. I'm surprised there was a director, to be honest. I thought that it's like, hey, kids, do some fighting, do some talking, and then we're going to put it together tonight. So I'm surprised there are raters for that. But all right, good for them. They have to. It's a shame they have to wait. But,
I know I'm coming in with
18.
old movies, but I started watching 7 Years in Tibet, and I think an AI wrote that because the first hour, which is what I got through so far, is him walking through various terrain and climate, and I'm like, I get it. You walk very good on different slippery things. And also, I'm really upset by the name of the movie. I get it. It's clever. But as soon as I know he's leaving, I'm like, well, he's not going to see this woman for 7 years minimum. Right. And I'm like, and he's writing in his journal. He's like, and it's been 4 years. And I'm like, well, spoiler, you have 3 more, like, he's in jail. I'm like, well, yeah, because he can't go home yet. It hasn't been 7 years. I don't enjoy that. Also, I forget that Nazi shit just existed, and this is part of this is like it starts in 1939 and World War II and whatever, and so there's Nazi flags like hanging at the train station at the start of the movie, and it's Brad Pitt, and he's all happy to be German and super white and stuff, and it's so uncomfortable. And that's it. That's the whole movie. That's the whole movie. I just told you all the plot. There's no plot.
I don't think I've watched it. I probably won't watch it.
No, you just did. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm good then. The Emmy Award nominations have come out. Will we have Emmys because of the strike? Who knows? But in the meanwhile, there's some people we know, like Janelle James, Abbott Elementary, up for Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. That's exciting.
Amazing.
The big one, of course, is Outstanding Drama Series because nobody takes comedy seriously. Your choices are Andor, some kind of Star Wars thing. Do you watch that? Being friends with the Star Wars girl?
Wait, is that the Mandalorian? I've seen the Mandalorian. I think
it's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I support it.
Better Call Saul. I don't think you're talking about the same show. Better Call Saul.
Hold on. From now on, when somebody says, "Have you watched that show?" I'm gonna go, "I support it."
You name a different show and then you go, I support it.
I support it.
I was about to watch Andor. I probably will. I just slow to it.
Did you listen to my podcast? I support you.
Yeah.
You gotta hit him with I support you.
I see you. Better Call Saul, The Crown, House of the Dragon, The Last of Us, Succession, The White Lotus, Yellow Jackets. I literally saw none of these.
The Last of Us and Succession is going to win, no? Because those are the ones that I hear people losing their minds over.
Succession leads with 27 nominations. Are there even 27 things? Let's say there's 10 actors, music, camera, makeup. I'm out of shit.
Well, you have guests. I mean, Succession is fire, though. I've seen the first 3 seasons. I would say that's a great
you're
show.
into it? You're the one?
Huh? Yeah. Am I into it? I think it's one of the best shows. Yeah, it's really great.
People love it. I never had a dad we can look up to. So I'm like, who gives a shit about these kids? I can't relate. Outstanding Comedy Series. Abbott Elementary. Barry.
Oh my God, Barry is so good. That's right. There are new episodes. Oh, it's so good, but not just the killing. The murder is cute and fun and everything, and that's one plot line. But the stuff that's happening with the acting is developing into being the best side thing. It's like half the episode is about being an actor and being in the weird industry, and the other half is about mob and murder and shit. It's so fucking good.
You're gonna hate the last season. You're gonna hate it. There's no comedy in it at all. Because when you get, because now you're on season whatever the fuck, you always have to amp it up. At first it's cute, then you get some murder, then the murder has to exaggerate. Next thing you know, it's one person taking on the Bloods and Crips, and now it's just
la 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 la
getting out of prison.
Well,
I made up all that, but you have to keep upping it until there's not going to be room for comedy.
Well, I was really starting to like the acting part of the show even more than the murder part of the show.
Wow, there's no acting part of the show in this last season. He's
refuse
on the
to
run
believe
now.
you.
What's the act?
I refuse to believe you because that was too good. I'm gonna
comedy series The Bear. I didn't know that was a comedy. I assumed it was a drama. It's about a chef that loses his shit, and I guess you're supposed to love it if you know you hate chefs.
You know what? Every movie and show about a chef is a chef losing his shit. They sound like fucking assholes.
They're
who
assholes.
Should be in
they
prison.
are. Yeah. I don't need to study them on TV now.
It's not that. It's that, they can hear me talking and they're like, that's right, bitch. I know. You're so proud of being assholes. It's like a weird, right. It's like if you're not an asshole, you don't think you can cook well. Enjoy your time. Ugh.
Jury Duty. You saw that. You like that, right?
Did you?
Haven't seen it yet.
I always feel like I can't ever be fully comfortable watching something where there's one guy who doesn't know that it's happening, because I'm always like, is this fair? Is this where entertainment is?
It's one of those fake reality shows, one of those planned reality shows.
Other than that, it's good. But he's such a nice guy, and he didn't embarrass himself at all somehow, not knowing like that he was the only one who's on this weird reality show. It's very strange.
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel still going on.
That's the best.
She's still trying to get on stage.
Well, that's done. They had
good for her.
Season.
Good for her.
It is.
She finally made it on stage. Oh, you're just saying it ended. Okay.
It's so fucking good. How did you not get into Mrs. Maisel?
Because I got to get into Jury Duty. Because I got to get into, every show I seem to be mentioning. There's a lot of shit out there. Only Murders in the Building.
I heard that was good.
It starts so corny. Maybe it is good, but you give me that corny music in the first 5 minutes, I'm out. Could be my fault. Ted Lasso, same thing. It started so corny, and I'm like, I know everybody loves it, but what is this tuba music? I'm out. Ted Lasso.
Curb Your Enthusiasm made tuba music watchable, right?
Yes. Right. And the show Wednesday. What the fuck? Okay. Sure. I'm sure it's fucking hilarious. Outstanding talk show. The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Late Night with Seth Meyers, Late Show with Stephen Colbert, The Problem with Jon Stewart. Man, imagine you're not on this list. If you have a talk show, you're on the list.
Yeah.
How are they going to choose between those guys?
Right.
Which one had Oprah on? Like, how do you even?
Outstanding variety special. The Apple Music Super Bowl LVII halftime show starring Rihanna. This is where the award shows give out awards to other award shows. It's a little understanding they have. Chris Rock, Selective Outrage, because they don't know what to do with stand-up. Elton John Live, Farewell from Dodger Stadium, because that's even relatable to Chris Rock's Selective Outrage. The Oscars, why not? The Tonys, sure.
Wait, the whole Oscars and the whole Tonys?
They're going to give an Emmy to the whole Oscars, or an Emmy could go to all of the Tonys presentation.
What category is this?
Outstanding variety special. They don't know what to do. That's live. Outstanding variety special live. So Chris Rock, remember, he was bragging. It's Netflix's first live thing. So that's why he's in this list.
Chris Rock is going to win.
Outstanding variety special pre-recorded. So this is really just best comedy, but they don't know what to do with comedy again. So here are your choices. Carol Burnett, 90 Years of Laughter. Well, no offense to her, but if you're going to compare it to stand-up, I guarantee that show isn't stand-up, the Carol Burnett show. John Mulaney, Baby J. Trevor Noah, I Wish You Would. Wanda Sykes, I'm an Entertainer. Then Norman Lear, 100 Years of Music and Laughter. Then Lizzo, Live in Concert. They really don't know what to do with comedy.
Wait, this is different than the one that Chris Rock is in?
Chris Rock was under live. Then there's pre-recorded.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought this was interesting. Outstanding game show, Family Feud, Jeopardy, The Price is Right. That's my jam. Wheel of Fortune. Who the fuck watches a game show and they spin the wheel and you're like, that is outstanding.
Wait, I don't get it. Is this cake didn't make it? It's so brilliant.
Is a cake that did not make it, unfortunately.
Weird.
Maybe they forgot to submit. Speaking of games, let me mention this. How fun was it game night with Mallory, Hemda?
What a cool person.
That was a good time. Also, we're going to be doing another game night for everybody. A week from today, July 24th, I'll be going against Matt Backus, Aaron McGuire, Kevin Allison. And the game show tickets will be available tomorrow. So mark your calendars. 1 week on Monday, July 24th, 8 p.m. Eastern, we will be live. All Keith and the Girl VIP members, you get a free ticket. If you're not a VIP, you can still get your free ticket because we're idiots. Hack the system. Use code free trial at keithandthegirl.com/VIP. And not only will you get a free Keith and the Girl VIP membership, you also get tickets to Monday's game for free. That's keithandthegirl.com/VIP. The code is one word, free trial. Who gives a shit? We don't know how to run a business. Enjoy. Thank you. Before we let Dave go, let me give you some big news. We understood that the universe was 13.7 billion years old. Scientists now believe it's 26.7 billion years old. Now that makes a lot of sense.
Actually, I believe it's 100 billion. There, I put it here. In 100 years when they discover that. I mean, it's got to be just like older and older, right?
It puts things into perspective. And sad news. You hate to leave on a bummer note, but I got to get this out.
It happens, man.
This is Jane Birkin. Was a singer and an actress. She was named for the Birkin bag, and she just died, 76. British actor who moved to France. Her singing made her popular in the 60s and 70s. She was a style icon. And whoever made that stupid Birkin bag said, I'm going to call it a Birkin bag after this woman. And the woman's dead. You know how she was looking for an EpiPen in her bag and she's like, oh, chapstick, an old diaper. Is this it? No, these are cheese sticks. She couldn't find nothing in those stupid fucking bags.
Yeah, that's because she couldn't afford the EpiPen after paying for a Birkin bag.
Right. They made her pay.
It's empty.
Right. Those are dumb bags. Anyways, are those dumb bags? You're a woman. Are those dumb bags?
I don't get it, but I don't know if I'm that kind of woman or man. So
Birkin lived in France. She was beloved for her warm nature and advocacy for women's and LGBT rights. Yeah, she's like, I think men should buy my bag too. Yeah, sure. Anything. I don't care.
Did she even get the Birkin money, or she was just named after it?
It sounds like just named after. They don't really describe the person that made it. They're just like singer and bag namesake dies 76.
Yeah, I don't think she got any of that Birkin money.
She was inspiration behind the famous Birkin bag. Doesn't look like her.
No.
I don't know. Well, R.I.P. you old bag. Oh, no. I see. She died, not the bag. Okay. My apologies. Dave, thank you so much for your time. Very nice meeting you.
Meeting you guys.
I'll tell everybody, look at the special miseducation of a fuckboy. See if you can figure him out. Absolutely. And of course, Rami is season 3 on Hulu. Oh. And the movie you want to check out is Sometimes I Think About Dying.
It'll be out sometime soon.
I'm ready. Tell Star Wars to get her shit together. I'm ready.
Thanks.
All right. Dave, thanks again. Good seeing you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, everybody.